Good afternoon, everyone. It is nice to see some familiar faces from the water and wastewater sector. For those who do not know me, my name is Lam. I'm responsible project manager for this project at company trAIDe. So let's start today's session. Maybe some formalities before we start. In this time being, you will be muted as audience. Please feel free to raise your hand or type your question directly into the chat so that we can answer and go through everything in the Q&A session at latest. This webinar will be recorded for internal use. We will be really appreciative of your approval. In the meantime, we would like to ask you to leave your camera on if possible, so that we can be as close as possible through this virtual communication. Okay, welcome everyone again to our first information session for this joint project. We would like to thank the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action, Africa Business Network, and Foreign Market Entry Program of Germany Trade and Invest for giving us this opportunity to conduct this joint project. With our local partner, Chemonics Egypt Consultants, and the company trAIDe, we are honored to conducting this project on the topic of water and wastewater management in Egypt. The planned period for this project is 2 program years, and it can be extended by a further year. Through a multi-year strategic treatment, the participants shall be enabled to gain a foothold in the difficult, still rather unknown for some of the German participants or companies, but strategically important target market. And so that you can establish sustainable contacts as well as business relations in Egypt. In the past months, we were able to hold many discussions with important stakeholders such as ministry, associations, project partners, and potential participants in order to build up and prepare for this joint project. Today, we would like to share more information and the challenges in this target country in this webinar, so that you as potential participating company can better understand whether the target country is right for you and clarify your question with the help from the attending water experts directly. Let's have a look on today's agenda. As you can see, the session will be opened by the political representative from Ministry for Economic from Ms. Matt, and followed by an introduction of Africa Business Network and Foreign Market Entry Program from Ms. Mandal and Mr. Weigert. After that, our local partner, Chemonics Egypt and trAIDe, would like to introduce ourselves and inform you about the framework of this joint project. As the main part of today's session, we will have this honor to invite Professor Gaba, Dr. Shabagi, Dr. Musa, and Dr. Hussein from Chemonics Egypt as speakers. And from them, we will get a first-hand information of the challenges in the target country, Egypt. And at the end, all the participants, you especially, as the audience, will get the opportunity to raise individual questions regarding the needs and chances of the market to our speakers and experts. So, all right, let's welcome Ms. Macht from the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action to say a few words to the potential participating companies. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Ms. Lam. And as we discussed before, my short introduction will be a mix of German and English because of the mix of German and English speakers we have at our webinar today. Herzlichen Dank Ihnen und Ihren Kollegen für die Arbeit an der Zusammenstellung dieses spannenden Programms für heute. Mein Name ist Sandra Matt. Ich bin Referentin in der Außenwirtschaftsabteilung des BMWK, welches auch zuständig ist für das Wirtschaftsnetzwerk Afrika. Ich begrüße die hier teilnehmenden Unternehmen sehr herzlich und freue mich ganz besonders, dass wir uns in der heutigen Informationsveranstaltung mit den Entwicklungen, Herausforderungen und auch Chancen in der ägyptischen Wasserwirtschaft beschäftigen und dabei einen genaueren Blick auf die Wertschöpfungskette auch im Wasserbereich richten können, um Ihnen erste Einblicke in den ägyptischen Markt zu bieten. Die heutige Informationsveranstaltung ist Teil eines Verbundprojekts, welches das Wirtschaftsnetzwerk Afrika zusätzlich zu den Maßnahmen des Markterschließungsprogramms anbietet. Das Format Verbundprojekt ist noch ein relativ junges Format, womit das BMWK über die GTAI die Auslandsmarkterschließung unterstützt. Und das Besondere daran ist, dass es eigentlich das einzige Format derzeit ist, das die Markterschließung in einer recht kleinen Kerngruppe von Unternehmen, die komplementär aufgestellt sind, über einen mehrjährigen Zeitraum unterstützt und dabei eben auch eher agil bei der Programmgestaltung auf die Bedarfe der Teilnehmer des Verbundprojekts eingehen kann. Also bin ich jetzt sehr gespannt, das Ganze in Aktion zu sehen. Yeah, so like I just said in German, I'm going to switch to English now in order to welcome our senior speakers from Egypt. First off, like Ms. Lam already said, we have 3 speakers from Chemonics Egypt, and I looked them up. I thought they're really brilliant. We have Professor Ahmed Gaba, who founded Chemonics Egypt as an engineering and management consultancy about 30 years ago, and has worked to position Chemonics Egypt as one of the key movers and shakers actually in the evolving water, wastewater and sanitation sector in the country. He's joined by his vice president at Chemonics, Dr. Mohamed El Shobagi, as well as Dr. Ahmed Hussain, who manages the eco-industrial section at Chemonics Egypt. Also, a warm welcome to Dr. Mustafa Musa, the director of the Center for Sustainable Development and head of the Valley of Science and Technology in Serval City. Ultimately, I'm also delighted that Dr. Peter Riyad is able to join us today. Dr. Riyad is our expert at the Egyptian water sector, on the Egyptian water sector. He is based at the German Chamber of Commerce in Egypt, and he has a wealth of market knowledge around technical market solutions which are applicable to today's challenges in Egypt. Ms. Mandal has thankfully facilitated his quick introduction to you today. On that note, I hand over to Mr. Weigert, who oversees this project from the GTAI side, as well as Ms. Mandal, who is our Africa partner at our coordination office of our Africa Business Network. Mr. Weigert and Ms. Mandal, the floor is yours.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mack, for this warm introduction. Let me just share my screen. Ms. Lam, can you see it fine?
Yes, right now we can see everything.
Perfect. Okay. Then a warm welcome from my side also. My name is Christian Weigert. I work at Germany trAIDe Invest as senior manager, and I am responsible for the water sector within the Foreign Market Entry Program, which is a program sponsored by the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action. And I will now just give you a very, very short overview over the program, so you know where the Verbund project, the platform within the Verbund project will be done.
Mr. Weigert, can you try to speak a little bit louder?
Louder? Okay.
A little bit, yes.
Okay, I put the volume up a bit, maybe that helps. Yes.
So we will try it.
Okay. So there you can see some impressions from physical activities, which were mostly done before Corona, but we had in the past 2 years mostly digital events. But I hope that within this Verbund project, within the next 2 years, that most of the events will be able to also take place in Egypt or in Germany, vice versa. The market entry program in brief, you can see on the world map here in dark blue are colored the countries where we had activities in the last year. So you can see that also in the African market, there are quite some countries where market entry activities take place. And the program per se, has a focus on selected markets, and it's also tailored to the needs of SMEs, and always with a regional and sectoral focus, in this case, Egypt and the water management sector. And within the years, the program has proven to deliver a high quality and sustainability, and also high impact for the companies that take part in the program. So we have a strict monitoring and evaluation to know the outcome of the business trips. And we try to react, of course, to trends and developments, and always focus on the interest of SMEs. And as you know, in today's world, there are many developments which are also take place rather fast, and try to adapt the program correspondingly. And we couldn't do this all alone, of course, but there are experienced organizers who have done many projects within the market entry program, like trAIDe and also their Egyptian partner. This is an overview over the foreign trade and investment promotion. You have the trademark Mittelstand Global. You have different export initiatives that do their initiatives within the foreign market entry program, as does so the Africa Business Network. And there are 5 standard modules, which will also play a role in the Verbundprojekt, which is basically a long-term project which takes different aspects of those standard modules and combines them with some other initiatives to create this Verbund approach. You have information events in Germany to get first market insights, fact-finding missions into the market to get further insights within the country. Also fact-finding visits for purchase and multipliers, where a foreign delegation comes to Germany, often related to big trade fairs or events in Germany. Then the core module, so to say, are the business opportunities initiation trips, where it's really the focus is that you get a stage to present yourself, your company, your products and services, and also meet the foreign counterparts. And then also showcase events where there's a bit more spotlight on this presentation and has a bit more of an event character to show your services and your solutions to the Egyptian audience. If you want to find further information on the activities of the foreign market entry program, there are also various different projects within the water sector. I would recommend you to go to Xpost, it's Außenwirtschaftsportal, and you can find all the activities regularly updated for 2022 and the following years on this platform. And if you want to reach out to us, you can reach us at mep@gtrAIDe, or like I said, Xpost, you find the information on current projects. We are also on LinkedIn to find the foreign market entry program. And with that, I would like to conclude my short introduction of the program and hand over to my colleague, Ms. Mandal of the Africa Business Network.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weigert. I will also share my screen. I hope you can see the first slide of my presentation.
So you need to, yes. Right.
Yes, okay, great. Thank you very much, Mrs. Lam. I'm also welcoming everyone. Hello, my name is Berna Elif Mandal. I'm a project manager in the coordination office for the Africa Business Network, and also an Africa partner for the regions North, West, and Central Africa. And within the next 10 minutes, I would like to give you an overview on the Africa Business Network and its offers and activities. On this slide, you can see the Africa Business Network in a nutshell. The Africa Business Network is an initiative of the German Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action that joins advisory and support services for companies that are willing to engage in African markets. And the focus here is on small and medium-sized enterprises. For that, the Africa Business Network connects actors of German foreign trade and investment promotion and German development cooperation. And by bringing these partners together, the Africa Business Network aims to find synergies and to identify gaps. And for these, we're also developing new activities for small and medium-sized enterprises. And here on the slide, you can also find our contact details. On the next slide, you can see an overview of partner organizations of the Africa Business Network, of which the Africa Business Network also cooperates with. So the network is composed of the established actors and programs of German foreign trade and investment promotion, such as the network of bilateral chambers of industry and commerce, Germany Trade and Invest, the Market Development Program, which just has been presented by Mr. Weigert, and the export initiatives of the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action. But it also includes federations, associations, and institutions with a focus on Africa. So on this slide, I would like to talk a bit more in depth about the services provided by the Africa Business Network. The specific offers we have cover a range of activities for all stages of the market entry process, starting from the business idea to the market entry. And the Africa Business Network provides information on African markets and on business opportunities on the Africa Business Guide. And this website is hosted by Germany Trade and Invest. And we also provide information and advice on the offers of German foreign trade and investment promotion, as well as German development cooperation. And as mentioned before, we develop new measures in the field of foreign trade promotion, facilitating the market entry for companies that are based in Germany or have a branch office in Germany. And in addition, we accompany companies throughout this entire market entry process by providing a dedicated contact person, which is the Africa partner in the coordination office. On the next slide, you can see our current projects. In Egypt, we have the joint projects on water and wastewater management, which is also today's webinar about. And we also have a sector expert in the water sector, but later on, I would like to talk a bit more about our sector experts. Also in Ghana, we have a sector expert for the food processing industry and also a joint project upcoming on waste and recycling, water supply and wastewater. In Southern Africa, we have a regional project on the waste management sector, and this project covers the countries Angola, Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. And just currently, our third sector expert in South Africa started for the circular economy sector. And all these projects and related information can also be found on the website, the Africa Business Guide. But of course, you're also welcome to contact us in the coordination office anytime. And lastly, upcoming, we have a fourth sector expert in Kenya on the health industry. And next, I would like to introduce you to the support program Vouchers for Advisory Services. The aim of this program is to facilitate the market entry of small and medium-sized enterprises into African markets, through which demand-oriented advisory services is provided. And for that, there is a grant for advisory services, which covers 75% of the consulting costs. So in consequence, the companies cover 25%. And this grant is actually for the preparation or realization of eligible projects in all African markets and open to all sectors. And this consulting is realized by qualified German and foreign consulting companies and organizations that have been listed by the Federal Office for Economic Affairs and Export Control, in short, BAFA. And eligible for these vouchers are small and medium-sized enterprises with a branch office or a subsidiary in Germany. And these SMEs can apply for up to 3 vouchers per year. And 1 voucher consists of a maximum of 15 consulting days each. In case you're interested in this program or have questions, please feel free to contact us in the coordination office. But I'm also encouraging you to have a look on the website of the BAFA, which is mentioned here down in the left corner. where all information on this program can be found. As mentioned before, we currently have 3 sector experts, and by engaging the professional expertise and local business knowledge of sector experts, the Africa Business Network provides companies with support for entering the African market. These sector experts are based at their respective German chambers of commerce or delegation of German industry and commerce abroad and have well-established networks. And their task is to identify specific business opportunities in their target industries and to make them available to interested companies via us, the coordination office. So in case you're interested in receiving business opportunities for the sectors and countries mentioned here on this slide, please send us an email. And now I would like to hand over to our sector expert, Water in Egypt, Dr. Peter Riyad, to introduce himself. Dr. Riyad?
He is in the line. Let's try.
Could you please turn on your camera and microphone so that we can see you?
Hello, everybody. Can
Yes.
you? Yes.
Yes,
Okay. But I don't have access to open my camera. Can you just
wait a minute? Let's try. I just gave you more rights right away.
Okay.
I hope it will work. Sorry for that.
No problem. Otherwise, I can start, just not to take a long time. First of all, many thanks, Ms. Mandel, for the brief introduction. Thank you, Ms. Lamlam, for the invitation. It's my great pleasure to be here today and to be a part of this special event. I am Peter Riyad. I am the water sector expert. I'm actually at the moment located in Ahaka, Egypt, in the German Arab Chamber in Cairo. I started currently working as a water sector expert since last February 2021. And it's my pleasure to be the joint or keynote or key speaker for the German market and to join between the German and Egyptian market, especially in water sector, which is getting more and more faster and dynamic nowadays. Just to give you a quick overview about myself, I'm graduated from Faculty of Engineering, Irrigation and Hydraulics Department, and I made my Master of Science in IHE Delft in Water Management, and I followed it up with a PhD at Leibniz University Hanover in Germany. Actually, I returned back to be a lecturer and training in trainer in the Faculty of Engineering and Shams University, and I was a water quality laboratory manager. And I took part in many consulting projects in Egypt and in Gulf countries. Also, I was working with the Ministry of Irrigation and Water Resources in Egypt. And also I had many connections and communications and networking with many private and public sectors. Actually, I also made a postdoctor at Kassel University in Germany. Finally, it's my pleasure to be here as a water sector expert and to share all the information related to water market here in Egypt, and also to share all the business opportunities for the German market. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Riyad. Actually, Dr. Riyad will also be involved more in other webinars of this joint project. And having said that, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. As mentioned before, please feel free to contact me and my colleagues in the coordination office anytime. Thank you very much for your attention.
Great. Thank you so much, Ms. Mandal. Now let me take over again and start the introduction of the company trAIDe and share some further information of this project. So let's wait for a bit. we will show the presentation once again here. So in the meantime, I have given actually everyone the right to speak out. So please feel free if you want to say something in the meantime, you can turn on your microphone, or of course you can type your question into the chat or some comments so we can go through them as well. Okay, so trAIDe, we are the expert of matchmaking business. Founded in 2008, our mission is to enable our clients to build sustainable business relationship around the globe. Within the water and wastewater sector, we were able to support more than 120 companies to enter international market. About the program, actually, a lot of people ask me what is so different in this joint project. Next slide, please. How can we be beneficial from at least 2 years participation? Well, I would say since this project will be conducted within 2 years, or at least 2 years, we have the possibility to support you not only through one single trade mission to the target country and introducing your potential partners to you, but having a holistic treatment to enter the market. We will divide the on-site trips into different focus by meeting the public sector, your individual potential partners, inviting them for a counter visit, and of course, introducing your joint cooperation towards the end consumers. In addition to the on-site trips, we will support you on getting more individual insights on topics such as contracting, tendering, funding, or even participation at a local trade fair. And the most outstanding benefit is that you as participating companies can vote for your interested topics and be part of decision maker for conducting the needed program. So therefore, as you can see from the next graphic, the so-called market entry process of the joint project, we would like to combine the participants into a network so that the synergies can be created and the joint project approaches developed for opening up more potentials for the target country. The individual support measures that will be built on each other and enable German companies to position themselves strategically better and to achieve concrete results in foreign business with Egypt. For this joint project, we would like to have 10 companies in the core team. You can see the annual contribution, next slide please, on the right-hand side. Different than before, we will not decide the participants or the participating company based on first come, first serve idea, but more importantly, to find a suitable network and participants to build a strategic network. So after our session today, if you are interested joining this project, we have already put the information on the next slide. Then what you can do is to hand in non-binding confirmation of participation to us, to the company trAIDe, till 20th of May. Or if you need more information, detailed information, you can also use the QR code below to book a meeting with my colleague Max for further explanation. We will review all the potential companies and their potential for the joint network, and again approach you individually before we announce the final participation or participants by 8th of June. Okay, so all right, now since we are finished with all the announcement for the organizational matters, we would like to start the main part of this webinar today. For this, I would like to give the floor to our local partner, Chemonics, to Mr. Professor Gaber, to say a few words about the company Chemonics, Egypt Consultants, and also to give the floor to all the speakers to share their first-hand information with us. Thank you so much.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm really honored, me and my team and Chemonics Egypt, to be part of this important initiative. I will start first by giving you an idea about Chemonics Egypt. We are a local. We started 30 years ago as a local consultant in Egypt. And after that, we were able to penetrate to the market, and with the vision we can provide our consulting services to the region. Then we moved from the local to the regional scale. And we had a mission from the very beginning that we select the best professionals in the country. We focus a lot on knowledge. Then we are a knowledge-oriented company. We are trying to bridge between the local market needs and the vast experience in Europe and North America. And we have succeeded to a great extent to follow the trends all over the world in the sectors that we are dealing with. Next, please. Then we have a specific set of values that our team were able to integrate and prove that excellence and that we are understand the value of the different and opportunities. And of course, we believe in the importance of professional integrity in the consulting market in Egypt and everywhere. As I said, we had started 30 years ago. We were able to build on a franchising agreement between Chemonics International, based in Washington, and Chemonics Egypt. And when we decided to work in the region, we were able to get business in Saudi Arabia, Libya, Syria, and then we moved to other places in the MENA region. Next, please. We started with water and wastewater in 1992, but the market was open for us to build our capability and references in the waste sector, which will include municipal solid waste, industrial waste, with other related wastes like agriculture waste, etc., etc. But recently we established a new department, which is the eco industry department, which is looking to cross-cutting issues like an energy efficiency and mainly to enhance the entrepreneurship and support small, medium enterprises in the sectors that we are working in. Next, please. Then in the water and sanitation, which is the main subject of our project, we can share with you in the coming meetings and whenever there is a chance to interact directly, that we definitely have a thorough, deep understanding of the sector, of the water and wastewater sector, including the urban side, rural side, the water side, the wastewater side. We were able to build our capabilities and references in all the project life cycle, from the planning, design, contractual stage, and then the handover, construction and supervision, and then the operation and maintenance. Over the years, we were able to deliver over 1,000 courses in different mainly because over the years, the capacity building of the local staff was a major concern and a challenge, as it will be mentioned later. Then we with our knowledge orientation and the market need, we were able to help assist the different institutions in Egypt in the capacity building side. Next. As I mentioned, in the eco-industrial department, we were able to work on energy efficiency, renewable energy, cleaner technologies, and recently we were able to go more and more in the waste utilization, and to bring, actually we started bringing in issues and expertise in the in what you are active in Europe, of the circular economy. Next, please. In the solid waste management, as I mentioned, there is a market in Egypt. This is not the subject of this webinar, but Chemonics Egypt again has worked on different projects in mechanical biological treatment and master planning, and recently we are working for the first time in Egypt on waste to energy projects. Next, please. And since the beginning, the part related to pollution abatement, pollution control, because of the magnitude of the environmental problems in Egypt, then we participated in many projects to do environmental impact analysis or environmental and social impact assessment related to different sectors, industrial, tourism, and other sectors in Egypt. Next. Then we have, over the 30 years, we were able to work with many clients, like the World Bank, the KfW, GIZ, of course, and with local ministries and local organizations. Then we established a wonderful network of the donors, the funding agencies, and the Egyptian authorities who are involved in the sectors that we are working in. This is our introduction to Chemonics Egypt, and of course, over the coming period, if anyone has any questions or want to share more information about our specific expertise in any subsector, we will be glad to do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have here already one hand from Ihab Kiblawi. If you want to, you can try to, yes, we can see you as well.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ihab Kiblawi. I'm from VIP Coatings. VIP is located in Aichach, Germany, but I don't know how to speak German, so I'm gonna continue in Arabic. I'm gonna address my question to Dr. Ahmed Jaber. Well, I've been one of the lucky people who supply material from Germany and was able to see the projects and experience the potential available in Egypt. Frankly speaking, looking closely, it's impressive. However, I was looking at the the specifications of a lot of the projects that were done in the near past. I'm not talking about the past. Okay, now when it comes to water and water industry, we know that water is the next gold or the next oil and gas. It's becoming rare, and we need to take the best care of it. And one of the important issues when it comes to water is life expectancy. I was surprised to see some of the projects that are being designed or specified in Egypt are still using products like cementitious waterproofing, for instance, for some areas where alternately you could use polyurea instead. And when you go for polyurea, you can get a life expectancy of more than 100 years compared to 10 or 15 years maximum when it comes to epoxies or cementitious. So from your experience in the Egyptian market, I know that when it comes to comparing the cost per square meter, of course, polyurea will not win, okay, and everyone will go for cementitious or epoxy. But when it comes to thinking of it, the cost per square meter per year, okay, when we put the life expectancy in it, in such cases, you will always see that newer technologies are much more economic on the long run. And with all the development, the impressive development and the facelift that is happening to Egypt, I don't think that the designers would like to do the project twice or 3 times, once to do the project, and after every few years to shut it down for repair and maintenance. So what is the role of Chemonics, if I pronounce the company name correctly, what is your role in upgrading these specifications in the design and in the local market in Egypt, and how can we assist you as well in offering the latest technology in this domain? Sorry if I took too long.
Okay, I will try to answer your question, and I will differentiate between technology and the specs. In our language as consultants, as you know, and depending on the type of tender, if it is a design bid build or a design build, the consultant will develop the tender document for a water project or a wastewater project following whatever the client has put in the terms of reference for the consultant. And I'm sure you know that most of the major projects in Egypt are designed by a consortium of international consultants and local consultants. There are the majority of the small projects locally financed. The designer would be a local consultant without an international consultant. But you name it, all the big names of international consultants have participated in the major water and wastewater project in Egypt. And currently, Chemonics Egypt is working with quite a number. Then right now, Chemonics Egypt is involved with one of the known international consultants called trAIDe, which is one of the, I would say, top 10 consultants in the world, in a project financed by the United States USAID to develop what is called master specs. Master specs in any country is a compilation of all the specifications that will be applied by the client in the water and wastewater sector. The project has achieved maybe 50% of the task, but it's quite a task. You are talking about at the end of the day, it will be something like 5,000 pages of what is master specs. But the specifications of any item the consultant has to go to what we call the Egyptian codes. We have Egyptian codes, but it's very generic. And when it go to any detailed specs, he has to take into consideration the techno-economics of the whole story. Then just to summarize, yes, the specifications, especially when it is related to penetrating a new technology, is a big issue, not only in Egypt, all over the world. We are working in Egypt on developing our master specs. It came little late, but now it is going in a specific project that happened, that we are honored to be part of the development of the first master specs for the water and the wastewater in our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have one more hand from Mr. Litz.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Wolfgang Litz from MC Bauchemie. We are material provider for coatings and repairs of wastewater and potable water plants as well. And we are about to enter the Egyptian market. My question would be going into the same direction as before. What are the norms, tenders and so on are used in Egypt when it comes to tenders? Is it ASTM, as you were speaking of Tetra Tech, or is there local Egyptian norms? Is it European norms? Which is the ones which are important?
If we are talking about American or USID project, we follow the ASTM. This is mainly ASTM and ACI, which is for American Concrete Institute, and the ASTM. If we are working in Europe project financed by KfW, for example, or EIB or EBRD, we sometimes follow the DEN, the German, the EN, and the British standard. Both of them are applicable. But mainly when we are asking for the standard of the specs, we should rely on the available market, available material in Egypt, okay? And some of the material similar to the manufacture for the chemical additive or the mixture, similar to Sika. The factors that follow sometimes in ASTM or DEN or EPH or EN, and they follow different. In Egypt, we have a standard specification, Egyptian, but is not updated. It is not originally from ours. It is taken or customized from the ISO or from the ASTM or the British standard or DEN. Usually we take it and adopt it for our practice here in Egypt. Yeah.
Okay, and one more question, last one, I promise, is do you need any additional Egyptian approval to provide material for this specific sector of potable water and wastewater?
Just so when we any new product work here, just the material will be approved by testing for the chemical authorities here in Egypt, and also to know about the standard that they applied. And we follow the testing based on the standard. We have a different testing laboratory officially. One of them belongs to the Ministry of Housing and other Ministry of Industries. They take some samples to be compliant with our standard. And if we are talking with the water sector, it should be checked that there is working without any problem for the water, to be no poisons, whatever. This should be satisfied with our requirement for water, potable water requirements.
Okay.
But there is no specific, just you have a product, this product, when we go to any company here or Ministry of Housing or holding company, if you are new, we should have some sampling and the testing before it should be satisfied or not. Okay. But if it's international and follows the international standard, usually will be accepted. Yeah.
Super great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shabagi, for already the detailed answer. But I think I would like to interrupt a little bit here to make sure that we can move forward with our main part of this presentation, but also the insights that you wanted to share with us. I believe you are there maybe ready to talk about the stakeholders and so on, the other topics that we prepare. So let's hold hands for a little bit. We have a session specially planned it and managed right after this main session. Okay, so we will get back to you right away. So if you all right with that, Mr. Gaba, I'm not sure who is
I will make the overview. Yes,
okay.
Yes, my pleasure.
Great.
Pleasure. Okay,
Thank you
let us
so much.
start. Okay, can you share the slides about the water and wastewater sector?
This is the stakeholder.
No, I'm okay. This is yes. Egypt is the population in Egypt as of the last census, we are now more than 100 million. The country is 1,000 by 1,000 kilometers. As you know, that we have a seafront on the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. We have the Nile water traditionally was our only source of water. Because of the water scarcity, we start now looking for alternative sources of water. If I next slide, please. We have a production capacity mainly using surface water treatment plants, and the second is groundwater treatment plants. And the third, which is a small percentage, is desalinated water. As you can see, in millions of cubic meters per day, we reach now close to 30 million cubic meter per day. If you divide this by the population, you'll see that the production share of the population, like per capita share, is relatively high. Egypt is in the water side, drinking water, potable water side. You can say that we have a high coverage, almost 100% coverage. Potable water is available in the smallest village as well as in the urban centers. We have problems in the water delivery system, which is mainly the water treatment plants, the distribution system. We can talk about it in the challenges, but coverage-wise, with the number of water treatment plants, surface and groundwater, and with a little desal, you can say that Egypt looks like we are in a good shape as a matter of per capita share of potable water per day. If we go to the wastewater, the next slide. No, this one, yes. In the wastewater, historically, the wastewater collection and the treatment went behind the drinking water projects. There was a delay. Then you can say that although we are on the high side in the coverage of the drinking water, our coverage with the wastewater collection treatment system, especially in the rural side, is much lower. I would say the numbers would vary from 70% coverage maybe in the urban to 30 to 40, and the government have a big project financed by the World Bank trying to improve the wastewater coverage in rural Egypt. And this is one of the most active projects in programs, you can say, right now in the water and wastewater sector, to try to match between the potable water delivery and the wastewater recovery and treatment. And of course, the issue of the reuse of the treated wastewater is a big issue in Egypt. Obviously, because of the water scarcity, then we have plans to reuse every drop of the treated wastewater for different purposes. Technology-wise, over the last 50 years, you can say Egypt have used and either 100% imported or 100% locally produced, or a hybrid between the two. Then if you look to the wastewater, you will see that we have conventional, we have now we are talking about upgrading our secondary wastewater treatment facilities to be more tertiary. Why? Because now pollution is much more important. To try to protect the scarce water resources, this means that a lot of pressure on the government and the implementing authorities and responsible ministry to improve the wastewater treatment quality, mainly to abide with our local regulations for disposal of treated wastewater. We are using, you name it. For anyone who is expert in wastewater treatment technology, I would say Egypt have been implementing projects with most of the well-established technologies in Europe, from oxidation ditches, sequential batch reactors, RBCs, you name it. Then on that page, you can say Egypt have a lot of expertise and have been in the business of the development or procurement of turnkey wastewater treatment plants or components of, for example, oxidation ditch or MBBR, whatever. And here, I'm sure the questions will come. If there is a new technology in Germany, never heard of in Egypt, and there is a German company and they want to do market penetration and bring in that technology, what we can do? What is the trajectory between being interesting in market penetration and eventually to be able to make your first deal in the water sector, water and wastewater or DSAT? I'm sure we can talk about that, because I think this, I'm assuming that this will be one of the main issues. Okay, just to give the full picture, as the project life cycle of the water wastewater, as you know, there is the master planning, project planning, and then preparation of tender documents, following whatever specs or codes, and then we go to the design, implementation, and go to the operation and maintenance stage. I just want to bring the attention of the participants that operation and maintenance is a big issue in Egypt, and the responsible authorities are struggling to improve it. Actually, we brought in German best practices with the support from the GIZ to try to improve the standard operating procedures. And this is a kind of highly appreciated interventions that have been brought by organizations like GIZ. This is an example. This TSM, actually, this is a German package, you can say, that have been imported and adapted and applied to in 163 plants that are now getting the certification of the TSM, and this is just an example. This is just to give you an idea that bringing in the technology is not the end of the story. The operational phase with all the associated backup after-sale support is that story actually in many cases. The holding company for water and wastewater, which is the main organization in the country, this is a holding company that owns 25 subsidiary companies or affiliated companies all over the country. The holding company had made several good initiatives. One of it is to improve the energy management in the water and wastewater sector. And this opens a lot of opportunities for companies that are specialized in energy efficiency in the water and wastewater sector. One direction is to go for converting the sludge from the wastewater treatment plants to resources, including the digestate, the liquid fertilizer, and electricity. For example, we have a few working projects in Egypt, but there is a strategy to expand in this kind of project, which will make a lot of business opportunities for companies, that because we know how advanced is Germany in the anaerobic digestion, the biodigesters, and the biodigesters, for the sludge, co-digestion or monodigestion will constitute a lot of opportunities in Egypt. The solar hybrid system, or the solar applying making energy more efficient, including using solar panels for solar pumping or solar like solar drying of the sludge, or producing electricity that could be fed to a water and wastewater establishment is another market that is it's a baby that we are expecting that it will grow by time. This is just the examples of this is a quick overview, and we can leave it at this point. And if there is a question that we can answer, if not, we, Dr. Shorbagy and my colleagues can start addressing the challenges. Yes?
Yes, I think it is a good idea. Dr. Shorbagy, please feel free to take over and start to share some insights in this area, sector challenges, and then we can open the discussion round. And we also already correct the hands from Mr. Koenig before, so then we can go through them all together.
The water sector in Egypt, as Dr. Gaber said, that we started with the first treatment plant, either for water and wastewater, more than 100 years ago, and there is a lot of improvement happened during the last century. Starting the highest improvement happened during the 1981 to 1990. This is a huge improvement for the water sector in Egypt, especially for the main capital, for Cairo and Alexandria. And at that time, this is a huge amount of finance paid by Europe through UK and also for United States of America as a grants. And after that, we have a lot of financing institutional, mainly in this century, starting from 2000. It is starting in Egypt with the KfW, the German bank. It started in 2000 and implement a lot of projects, mainly in water and wastewater sector, especially for the treatment plant and also for sewerage projects for the rural sanitation, and it's still working to now. And the other recently, about 10 years ago, it is the EIB and the EBRD started again to invest for the same sector. Most of our issues now in Egypt, it is we have a lower service for water service, especially in rural sanitation. Rural sanitation, we are covering about previously about 15% or 80%. Now we are increasing to target about 30 or 35. Most of the urban areas are already covered by wastewater service. There's no problem for that. And this starting the scarcity of water to have to highlight it for the need for a proper treatment for the operation and maintenance of the wastewater treatment plant, to try to use the effluent of these plants in recycling or reuse as a in the waterway, and sometimes we use it in agriculture purpose in most of the agricultural drains in Egypt. This gave a pressure for the water sector in Egypt to have a proper operation for these facilities to satisfy the requirement of the use of water or the water reuse. This should be satisfied. And this is a challenge. It is faced by the Minister of Housing through the holding company for water and water sectors and the other key players in the sector, just to try to improve this problem. And this is the challenge. The challenge mainly for the operation and maintenance, and also for the increased scarcity of water, which have a pressure for us. It is if we have some pollution in the River Nile, if we have the fresh water reduced, this means the concentration finally in the River Nile will be increased. This is one of the challenge. And we can say that it's one of the challenges for the water sector, for the water treatment plant in Egypt, is we didn't have a mechanism for the proper treatment of the sludge created or generated from the treatment of water treatment plants. And most of this is treatment plant, I can say about 90% or of the production and about 95% of the number of treatment plant in Egypt, water treatment plant, usually discharge the sludge from sedimentation of treatment plant into the either for the River Nile or the waterway, which will complicate our life. This is you can say this is the major issues for the water treatment plants in Egypt. Also, we have another area for the sludge management. We did a lot of sludge management project here in Egypt. Recently, we have a strategy with it is financed by the GIZ with the holding company to build up the strategy to have the use of the sludge management in different companies. But we're still on the beginning of the road. We didn't have covered. It is a sludge management maybe covered in 3 or 4 treatment plants in Egypt. And the rest, there is no sludge management, either to use the simplified drying beds for drying, but this is mostly it is not efficient, and we have a problem to deal with this types of treatment, especially for the delta with the rainy area with high humidity. There is no potential for the drying of this sludge. This is one of them. One of the good example happened in Egypt, it was constructed in Egypt. It is constructed by Passavant. Passavant, it is a German company, worked and built 500,000 cubic meters per day wastewater treatment plant as part of the Jabal Asfar. This is a beautiful design, and this project now is covered, have a good sludge management and generated the power from the sludge through the digesters, and almost they covered all the power required from the plant from the digester. And now started to give additional power to other stages in the same plant. This is done designed and constructed and operated by Passavant. This is a German company. But still we have all over the other governorate, we have only these types of sludge management in Cairo, not for all treatment plant of Cairo, just for Jabal Asfar only. And in Alexandria, they are building another one now, but it's not working yet. Okay, this is the area we need a lot of work for this sludge management, but at least we should have a reliable technology which is applicable for the small size or medium size, but not for the 500,000 or 100,000 cubic meter, just to try to implement it in Upper Egypt treatment plant and also for Lower Egypt or Delta. By the way, we have it more than 440 treatment plant in Egypt. If we are talking about the sludge management, maximum you are talking about 3 or 4. And all the rest, there is no sludge management, just for only for the drying, through the drying beds, and take it after that to go to the agriculture purpose. This is not hygiene, there is not well digested. This is maybe create a problem for the agriculture land reclamation areas. Okay, this is one of the other one, the other potential. It is for the power consumption. We need to have to reduce our power consumption, especially for the design. I have experience with Passavant. When Passavant awarded the construction of treatment plant in Jabal Asfar with 500,000 cubic meter per day, they have a recent technology to minimize the power consumption inside the plant for all facilities, all stages. We have in Jabal Asfar, we have Passavant, this is the most recent one, and another 500,000, it is before it is constructed by Degremont, the French company, but the power consumption in the recent one by Passavant is much lower than the previous one. This is the achievement that we know that we want to implement it in other. In most of the treatment plant in Egypt, this is a traditional treatment plant, either by oxidation ditches or conventional activated sludge, but there is no mechanism to try to reduce the power, either for the aeration. We have some initiative by GIZ to finance a small finance for these companies to improve one of the treatment plant out of 10 or out of 20, but this is not a lot. It needs to be spread for over all the treatment plant in Egypt. Other area we are talking about for the treatment for the wastewater sector. We have a problem in Egypt for the main sewers, especially in Alexandria and Cairo, or the big cities. The big cities, this is the capitals of the governorate. We have some sewer pipeline. This sewer pipeline, you are talking about small diameter or large diameter. In Cairo here, we have starting from more than 600 millimeter to about 5 meters internal diameter. We didn't have a mechanism for the sewer cleaning for these pipes. It is for this diameter, for large diameter, we didn't have. This is a very high, is a very big problem, especially in Cairo and Alexandria, and they need a lot of help to have to how to cleaning. Now, some of this major pipeline has depressed, and the effective depth was reduced about 60% or less than 60%, which finally will cost us to rebuild another pipeline, another sewer trunk, which is cost high. But if we find out some technology or mechanism to do this one, this will be very good. The other, maybe the last for the desalination, according to our scarcity of water and the problem we have it in Ethiopia to try to reduce fresh water to come to Egypt, and the increasing population, and the per capita. This means we have a stress on this water. And we started a plan about 3 or 5 years to go to the desalination. The desalination, the problem is the cost. We plan to have about 2% or 3% for the potable water to be generated or produced from the desalination. But this is the cost for high cost of the construction. We have some international donors assist us in building some of the treatment plant for this desalination plant, but also the component of the energy. It is the high part of the O&M. Not all of the construction we know about. After we have the operation, the percentage of the power consumption is the highest in the desalination plants. Other issues we started about 3 or 4 years ago to improve the treatment plant, the wastewater treatment plant to be tertiary treatment, to be filtered, just to try to use it safely, not safely 100%, but at accepted quality to use when for the agriculture waterway, agricultural drains. As we have some agricultural drains in Egypt, the water can be recycled more than 2 or 3 times. This means you can extract the water from the drains to try to use it in agriculture, and after that collected and they try to irrigate again. This is especially in the Delta, and this is really a plan to have to improve the treatment plant instead of have secondary treatment to be tertiary, just to have a filtration system either by this filter or any system, but at least to be for the water to be safe for the water reuse in agriculture purpose. Especially we have it unplanned reuse. Unplanned reuse, this means you just dump it, the water in the drain, and you cannot control what types of agriculture or crops can the farmer use the water for it. This is unplanned. This means we have a stress or under pressure to try to improve the quality of water to be suitable or most suitably for to use by the farmer for agricultural crops or others. This is the major areas. In addition to have some areas similar to, we have in Egypt increased the ammonia in surface water, and sometimes nitrate in the groundwater due to the use of fertilizers in the desert area. They pollute the groundwater when it has a leachate from the excess water with the fertilizers. And especially in Delta, we suffer from highest ammonia level, especially in the winter season. Winter season will start in December to about March. In these months, we reduce the fresh water from the Delta, River Nile, the 2 branches of the River Nile. And based on that, if we discharge some wastewater or discharge or agriculture drains to the river line, this means the pollution concentration increased in this time about 3 or 4 times, and the affect the water treatment plants. This is one. It is known in Delta, and create a problem. And this is one of the issue. If we have it a solution or a proper solution about that. This is for. I think this is the major issues that we have in the sector. Need help, either technology or manufacturers or the knowledge, maybe new knowledge. In addition to have now, we have in Egypt a huge program. It is implemented now and currently under the support of the President Sisi, which is named, it is Decent Life program. As Decent Life program, they try to invest for the rural sanitation all over Egypt in the rural area, and also they have some created some idea about the project to construct a new delta in the north coast of parallel to the Mediterranean, and this is we will take some water from the drains and also fresh water from the River Nile, which create in future, maybe within a couple of months, a salt intrusion from the Mediterranean to the north of Delta. This is not started, but we're forecasting that this is a potential that we know this will happen during the coming years. This means we should, number one, we improve the economics of the water sector, the economics as a power consumption and the treatment facilities, and also to have a better management for the sludge, either for the wastewater sludge or water sludge. Wastewater sludge, we have some technology which is very, very simplified, as I said, that is for drying beds, but for still we didn't have any technology or reliable technology or applicable technology for the water treatment plant, as most of the treatment plant, it is discharging the water and the sludge for the waterway again. It is extract the water fresh from the waterway, and maybe after 100 meters, whatever, to the discharge again for the waterway. This is the only solution, except you can, if you have in Egypt more than 2,700 water treatment plant, you can identify maximum 5 or 6 have a system for the sludge management. All the rest have nothing. I just say this is a quick brief, and I'm happy to, if any question or clarification, or in the next webinar we'll have more focus about the issue. But today, just for the originally, it is the water sector in Egypt is managed mainly by the key player. It is the Ministry of Housing. Ministry of Housing also have some entity or authorities similar to the holding company responsible for operation and maintenance, and the NABWAST and the CABO, other two entities responsible for the construction of projects. But recently, about 10 years ago, holding company take some finance, especially the starting from the World Bank and KfW, to finance and construct their needs for project. On the other hand, there is another authority, which is the Suez Canal Authority. They are responsible for the construction and the operation and the maintenance of the water treatment plant only for the canal cities, which include Port Said, Ismailia, and Suez. And we have NUCA. NUCA is a new community, urban community. This is the authority part of the Ministry of Housing. They are building or construction the treatment plant for water and wastewater in the new urban cities in Egypt, either before or now. And recently they started to be responsible for the operation and maintenance also. This means we have three players. We have holding company for the operation and maintenance, and also NUCA operate and some treatment plants in the new cities. And with the Suez Canal, just concentrate their work in 3 cities on the canal. Okay, this is the key player in Egypt. This means if we want to something to finance, we should to look for which entity I should connect, either NUCA or holding company or CABO for the new for Cairo and Alexandria only. Or if we improve something for the operation maintenance, we know that we will target holding company and NUCA and Suez Canal. Hello?
Yes. So
yeah. if any one of our participants ask me, I can ready for any reply or clarification.
Yes, we have here, first of all, Mr. König.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to everyone. And I'm sure that I'm on the right place on the right time. My name is Hans-Jürgen König. I'm working for Satex Multicom, and we are the worldwide leader for providing no-dig technology. Means we are repairing pipes in water and in wastewater sector. I'm based in Abu Dhabi. It's a short jump to Egypt. And Egypt is one part in my strategy plan. But I will come back to the precondition which are necessary to introduce a technology in a market which is not available. Because it is more than only to supply a material. That is some issues which we have to solve at once. Means, if we talk about rehabilitation of pipes, means in potable water, then we call the big issue of non-revenue. And if we talk about to rehabilitation wastewater pipes so that we have no negative impact due to exfiltration to the environment. These are very big issues, and pipes in the ground are the biggest asset we have as a municipality. I'm talking about that because in my view, I'm not talking only as a technology provider, because I'm also a permanent member in the German association DWA and GSTT, German Society Trenchless of Technology. For that reason, it is very interesting to hear that we can participate to improve the situation in Egypt. And I'm more than interested to involve also my personality in that. So if we talk about that, I understood very well that we have three key parts. Means the cleaning, then we have the TV inspection, and we have to think on which is the right technology to repair a pipe without to dig up. And according to these issues, of course, you need knowledge. This is the basic. Otherwise, you cannot talk and you cannot have a conversation with a client or with a consultant or with companies which provide this technology. So I'm speaking also in a view of a reference which I have made also 3 weeks ago in Brunei. I introduced this technology in this country. We call it CIPP, Curate in Place Pipe technology. And we repaired last year approximately 900 kilometers worldwide. We are also worldwide active. And my offer to you is, and my question to you, first, can we use our existing approvals in Egypt, which is accepted worldwide? That's my first question. Or we have to start it to apply for new approvals in Egypt. My second question is, are you interested also that a person participated and developed a project from the beginning and transfer also the know-how which is necessary to make an assessment, to make also a technical feasibility study, and to give also an idea about materials which has a service lifetime minimum of 50 years. Means this is a value change and a total package which normally a company has to provide it to a client which is interested to solve problems in their infrastructure.
Okay, first of all, this is very important for the rehabilitation, for either for the water pipelines to reduce the losses or the non-revenue, whatever, for the water. Also, we have the rehabilitation of the sewers. I think we have in Egypt some companies working with the rehabilitation, but very small and very little, very little. We didn't have a company working before for the rehabilitation of water pipeline. We didn't have it here yet, okay? But we have some one or two companies. We didn't have, you should have a permission or approval. No, there is no approval, but through any supplier here or one of your agent here in Cairo can communicate with the water companies. When you're talking about the new technology, we should go to Alexandria or Cairo. Yeah, by the way, this is, they have experience and they can accept the new technology and to start with you. If your agent have maybe a pilot project or whatever, just to show a demonstration, how is it benefits, how is the cost, this will be appreciated, will be very good. And this is a high potential, especially in the main cities as Cairo and Alexandria, in Delta or Upper Egypt. This is a high potential for that. But this is through use of your agent and your support as a German company by technology and knowledge and the custom to be effectively and to have to apply a demonstration maybe on your cost just to open the market. But they will not, no one will approve or pay money for new technology. He didn't see it. At least maybe have a small pilot, whatever. If they are convinced him, they will accept it and apply. Some concern about here, we are talking about the companies, we are talking about we have applicable for our conditions, applicable for what? To solve this issue, the applicability, you should have the advantage to implement maybe a pilot, small pilot through one of the company. Usually this will be supported maybe by the holding company or Cairo and Alexandria Water and Wastewater company. They will be excellent here if you do it here, either for water and wastewater. But still we have it, the cleaning on the main sewers, the highest needs, especially in Cairo and Alexandria. We should have a solution. We have a water jet, a vehicle with a water jet, but with a water jet, you cannot applicable to have it pipes for more than 500 millimeter. You should have another one mechanical system. We didn't have this issue at all. This is we have a highest need for that, either to pre-construction or design a machine, whatever, maybe by robot, whatever you can think about it. But this is very important now and needed for the main sewer, especially the highest cost to construct another means. We cannot afford it here.
I can confirm all is available, but what I need is I need a person which I can contact. Yes,
okay, we can prepare it for you, yeah, for that. And
that would be great.
We are talking about the entity, not a person. Entity, you should enter the entity itself. The main for the sewer, this is the holding company. The holding company is the managing the water sector, and this is we can have arrange a contact with them, but this is the main contact to penetrate the market.
Yes, that would be very helpful for me if you can support me to get a contact to them so that I can find out to whom I have to talk.
Sure, okay.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
Since I noticed that Mr. Lyashenko is need to leave in 5 minutes, and I see his hand right now, so maybe if it's okay to Mr. Kiblavi, we will let Lyashenko to have his question first and then get back to you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you are welcome.
Good afternoon and greetings from Cairo. I'm actually right now, as I speak in Cairo, I'm spending quite a lot of time here in Cairo, exactly working on the issues that have been very well presented by Chemonics, a consultant that I can definitely recommend. I know them quite well. I am an independent consultant to the water industry, spending now almost 4 years continuously with work in Egypt, first as a senior industry advisor for the European Bank and Reconstruction and SME program, advisory program, and currently acting as a group advisor to a large local company here involved in the water and wastewater sector. So we are trying exactly currently to promote new technologies in the Egyptian market. We are working with all the stakeholders that have been mentioned to do exactly these things like approval of new technologies, implementing of new technologies, finding trials and pilots and financing options. So I can confirm and that there's plenty of opportunities here. There's a huge market, and it's definitely worth to come here. I don't have really a question. It's rather an add-on from the practical work on the ground. And I'm spending 2 weeks per month here in Cairo, working or coordinating, let's say, the local entities, local companies with foreign technology holders and the stakeholders here on the ministry and authority level. My recommendation to companies that are interested to work in Egypt, that they need to be aware that a significant time has to be spent here in Egypt. It is by far not a market that can be remotely served by emails, by papers. It needs a local presence, it needs a strong follow-up, and it needs a willingness to invest significantly into the market in time and effort. Otherwise, regardless how promising the technology is, it is very unlikely that it will be successful. From my experience, from my point of view, if you don't have a real strong and continuous presence here in order to get things done and actually executed. Another challenge I see with a lot of European or foreign companies that they are overwhelmed by the pace and the dynamics here in Egypt. We are coming naturally from our European approach to a very straightforward, everything needs to be organized and put on paper, and we need plans, but plans here change on a daily basis. So you need to be very flexible in terms of going with the local market, and you need to have a certain frustration level that you bring into the market. What is currently happening from my point of view, despite the things that are happening in the wastewater sector, and I can confirm there is a certain pace, but much more dynamic at the moment, is the portable water supply sector, which is partially triggered by the food crisis coming. There's huge irrigation schemes coming up, almost on a weekly basis being announced, and with very short execution times. So it is quite interesting, and I would recommend everyone to come here. And if you come here, don't hesitate to contact me. Most of the time I'm here, and I will be more than happy to share my insights and my experience with people that spend time here in Egypt. Cairo is a small place, so there's always a possibility to catch up and meet somewhere to have a little exchange.
Yeah, thanks for your comment, and you conclude the issues. And this is the high recommendation for the German company to come to sit in Egypt and work hand by hand, try to succeed, and not to be remotely by emails or whatever. Should be present in person, and try to work with the Egyptian. As you know, in Egypt, as you mentioned, that we have a dynamic change to the time schedule or planning or whatever. They should cope with that. As you said, we will not have a straightforward for the planning, but we change maybe day by day, as you said. But this means you have a good experience in Egypt, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I work quite a lot, or I'm in contact with Shadi Al-Gaba, from Chemonics, and a variety of consultants here that most of them you will know. Yeah. So it's a small world in the water sector. The people know here each other, and so I'm more than happy to pass by at Chemonics as well to share a little bit. The Farid Hassanin group. This is mainly that I'm working with at the moment, so you can imagine the dynamics.
Yeah. Thanks for the comments.
Yeah, I can also feel the dynamic already. So, Mr. Kiblavi.
No, but he touches the dynamics itself. He feels it.
Hey, I totally agree with Mr. Mark's comments about Egypt and the Egypt market. There are much more challenges that you may read on paper. in addition to changing plans every day, it's the difficulty of transferring your payment abroad. Okay, especially if you are getting paid in the euro or in the dollar. Okay, because it affects on the currency thing. So it can get quite challenging. But I want to go back in time, Dr. Hassan. Dr. Shorbagy, regarding what you were talking about the wastewater treatment plants. From all what you were saying, you did not classify or differentiate between domestic wastewater and industrial wastewater. But when you mentioned something about putting it back into the aquifer or just throwing it back where it should belong, I get from that it is domestic wastewater that you are talking about, is it?
In Egypt, if you are talking, we have built about more than 440 treatment plants. This is domestic.
All domestic.
We build all domestic. We build about maybe maximum 3 or 5 for industrial. For a certain location, maybe 6th of October in Westna, in 10th of Ramadan, maybe maximum you will not find more than 5. This is the industrial, especially for the industrial zone and the Fayoums under construction. Yeah, the maximum you will find 5, but mostly they are domestic.
Well, in this case, I think there's another challenge that you may add to the list of challenges that you have in the wastewater treatment plants or the wastewater industry, which is when you have the wastewater treatment plant being fed more than its capacity, sometimes, or even when you are not recycling the material, the water, you just purifying it until reuse. Because it's much more economic, and you intend to use it for irrigation. Of course, it will be filled with nitrates, which will cause eutrophication, the excessive growth of plants and algae. But so it would be excellent for irrigation purposes. But when you neglect the industrial wastewater treatment plants, some factories, okay, who have some strong connections may dump all their effluents into the stream of this water. So even though you have water filled with nitrates for eutrophication, for irrigation purposes, it may still contain some heavy metals like mercury, lead, and cadmium that may go and stay in the crops, and when you use it for irrigation with the crops and vegetables, etc. So that will be a life or health hazard in addition to just a challenge. Now, this is my comment as an additional challenge that you may add to the list of challenges if we neglect the waste, the industrial waste. But my question to you, Dr. Shorbagy, regarding the channels, TRAIDe. Okay, I heard that there's a huge project in Egypt, which is like 1 million square meter or 1 million kilometers, sorry, 1 million kilometers in length of channels that are being rehabilitated or lined. Okay,
concrete line.
Exactly. Now, what can who is taking care of this? Who's the entity that is taking care of this? And if we want to talk to these people or propose some solutions or systems in order to make their life easier sometimes or safer.
But you are talking about the lining of the canals?
Yes, exactly.
This is the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation.
Okay.
They are responsible for all drains and the canals in Egypt, and they're starting a program to have a pitched rock pitches and also for concrete lining to minimize the water penetration of the losses of water and to maximize the land area. You know, this is if you have a earth canal, maybe the wide would be about 6 meters, but if you lined, you can decrease this widened, and they have additional land that can be used for agriculture or roads, whatever. Yeah. But this
and
is
even the water, and even the water itself can last for longer distances before it gets absorbed into the substrates.
This is
So you said it's the Ministry of Water. You're breaking up. I don't know. Is it only me?
minutes, Dr. Shabagi, I think we cannot hear you.
So it's not only me.
Yeah.
So right now, yes.
Yes. So my
is
last question.
Yeah,
my last question.
Ministry of Water Resources and the Irrigation.
Okay.
This is the ministry responsible for all the agriculture and the drain, canal and the drain network in Egypt. Yeah. If you have a new technology for the construction, it would be appreciated. But on a new material, we have now. We work as a traditional. In some canals, you use it the plain concrete. In some canals, you use the beaches covered by a thin layer, maybe I think 10 centimeter plain concrete. This is not be, I think, from my experience, is not suitable and will not have a lifetime. And if you have other technologies or proposals, I think they can willing to listen to it.
Will you be interested in having a look at it before I propose it to the Ministry of Water?
So I think that would be a very detailed question already. So either you will be our participation or later on we should discuss that. But anyway, I'm really appreciative of your interest. Since we didn't expect that so many questions already being raised until now, my suggestion will be to ask the two speakers that we actually planned it to just briefly introduce themselves before we go further with our Q&A session, because when I look at my clock, we still have actually 10 minutes. I think we can extend it to 15 minutes. But however, I do believe if we could include these two speakers again to make sure if someone has a question, I hope more general question, that we can cover this within this Q&A session and make sure that you can check if your company is suitable for the Egyptian market. Okay, Dr. Shabagi, is okay to you?
Yes, okay. My colleague, Dr. Mustafa Musa, you hear me? Hello, Dr. Mustafa.
Yes, I hear you, Mohammed. Yes, I hear you.
If you want to comment on my challenge to add something, you are welcome. Yeah.
I think that you already summarized the main challenge of Egypt, especially for the water sector. So it's really could be summarized as water scarcity and also the deterioration of the water quality, either in the surface water or the groundwater. That this is really need the technology to overcome this type of problem. And regarding the last question with the industrial wastewater treatment, actually it's right. With the small scale of wastewater treatment plant is also needed, but the problem of this one has to be really in a very cost-effective way, because this will be an extra burden on the industrial sector as well. So as Dr. Shabagi mentioned, he was mentioning about the large-scale centralized industrial sector in industrial zone. However, with the rest of other industry, they are still seeking for the small-scale wastewater treatment plant that get them fulfill the requirements of the discharging. So similar like the DAF and all these kind of things, which really, but the only problem of this one that has to be an appropriate price and reasonable price for them to really accommodate their need with the cost of production. That's it. I think you already covered everything.
Okay, thanks, Mustafa. Okay, I'm ready for any clarification or question.
So it was Mr. Kemper I think who raised the hand?
Mm.
If you are there, please feel free to maybe raise your question as well.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I'm on a remote working space right now. My name is Clemens Kempers from the company Hilo Professional. A short introduction: we are a supplier for ladder access and safety equipment. Mostly, this is a very small part of projects in wastewater treatment plants, drinking water plants, and some other industrial projects. We are also doing projects in sewers, harbors, and airfields, but this is not an issue in the water market, I understand. So we do not have big new technologies for the water market or other water treatment plants. We do not have a direct connection to the water. So could this project be interesting for us? That's the big question for me right now. My question is more, how are the safety challenges on these plants or on these projects, or how is the safety of the personnel being managed at the moment? Could this be interesting for us to implement on the Egyptian market, or is this sort otherwise?
For the safety, it is a big issue here in Egypt. We have some accident happened in the treatment, especially in the treatment plant, and sometimes in the water treatment plant for the chlorination. We still have we still use the chlorination in the water treatment plant, and sometimes you have an accident. In the wastewater, you have the closed areas, the gaseous, the odor. All these are a lot of issues need to be supported. We have some companies here working on that, but this is a good market also to have. This is one of the concerns of the holding company, to improve, to minimize the death cases, or what happens the cases during the treatment plant all over Egypt. This is one of the targets of the holding company to be minimized. If you want something, equipment, whatever, or something to use it, this is be good to present it and to do what you have to minimize the risks that we're having during the operation and maintenance of these plants.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
And what would be the role of this this project Verband during this process? Because normally we are preferring to work with some local distributors or with local dealers to be presentive on site, because we cannot do as told everything remotely.
No. There is no. This is the local dealers or the agents. This is sufficient to have to present this technology or equipment. But if you present with him to help him and to be knowledgeable as a operation and maintenance staff to assist him to penetrate the market, will be good. Yeah, but through you are not needed to be officially here in Egypt. Yeah, but at least your agent or representative, whatever, he can take the role with your support.
Okay. Thank you.
So further question? I see no further hands here in the chat. So we are right on time, actually.
Good.
Right now. Wait a minute. Too early to say goodbye. Hi, hello.
Wait a minute. You hear me well?
Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you. Very good.
Yeah. First of all, I'm so honored to be in this meeting, and it was lucky that I joined this meeting because I had another meeting with Max actually 10 minutes before this webinar starts, and he invited me to the meeting, and I was surprised meeting, seeing Mr. Shurbogi and Mr. Ahmed Gaber, We met already one time in Egypt, and frankly, I was sitting in the same chair as
this one.
yeah, that one. Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah, I can like quickly introduce myself. I'm Ziad Al-Dada, Egyptian. I'm a head of business development in Boreal Light. We are doing innovative desalination solution, which is affordable desalination system powered by solar energy.
Yeah.
We are very interested in the Egyptian market, and it was one of the biggest like targets for us. And regarding to the like challenges, I see that there are big opportunities for decentralized solar desalination systems. And as you mentioned, the Haya Karima project, which we had an eye on and spoke with some of the authorities already, but I was like wondering what exactly, or yeah, like what exactly is the fit for such decentralized desalination systems? Because I know that in Egypt, desalination is a big thing, but like there are either huge or none. But small, medium-sized desalinations are not there in the market yet.
The small, we have a lot of small size for treatment plant is north of Sinai. It's spread on also, you are starting from about 500 meters per day. Spread more in the north of Sinai, in Al-Arish and around to Zweid and all this area. This technology it is needed and target mainly for the holding company as a ministry, and also for the touristic villages for the Red Sea, they can applicable. But we have this size. This is a medium or small size. It is needed. But our problem now, if you go to the our problem or the challenge will be the operation and maintenance. For that, it will be the water company or other entity. Mostly it's the water company. But this is the high need for that, especially not to allow to transmit the water in pipelines, not to have to minimize the loss, to minimize the non-revenue, to try to the benefit of both sides. Yeah.
True. Yeah. I think it's not the good time to have a detailed conversation about that, but I will. I think Mr. Hassan has. Yeah. But I would be honored to have like another discussion with you regarding the problem, but not in this session because we already like it's almost done.
Okay. You are welcome. Yeah.
But I'm so happy to see you today. Really honored, and greetings to Mr. Ahmed Gaber.
تعالى تقعد في نفس الكرسي برضه مش مشكلة.
نفسي هو نفس المكتب بتاع الدقي ده.
You are welcome. Yeah.
تسلم.
So I can see one more hand actually from the Chemonics side. And wait a minute, I'm hearing some backgrounds from Dr. Shabagi. So is someone from the local side wanted to say something as well? We have one hand here.
Hassan. No, there is no.
Hello. Hi, this is Ahmed Hussein.
Yeah, Dr. Ahmed. Okay.
Yes, I have a question.
Ahmed Hussein is the manager of the Eco Industrial Department in Chemonics, Egypt. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted. Thank you very much. I wanted to very quickly get the point of view of the intersection of the energy with the water sector. The renewable energy opportunities and challenges that we could face in Egypt, or the opportunities in this area.
Thank you so much.
Or maybe from international experience also, ideas for this part. Or perceptions.
Is there any question from the audience? Let's check. Not for now. But I do believe, as we can see, it was much more questions than we expected today already. And like I introduced, this project is meant to be for participants or participating company that are interested in Egypt, but also interested in this target country for a long term. So I don't believe we can solve all the problem today. So that's why it is a good start. So I would suggest we can, if you have no further question, we can finish this session. The first, this is the pre-session actually, before we start, to share all the chances, but also the challenges from the Egypt market. So let's keep in contact. Like I introduced and also explained to everyone, we are very, very interested to get to know you, to get to know all the German potential participants. If you don't have our contact, please make sure that you will ask us and we can share the slides with you, and also the contact from our sales manager and also our colleague here internally. I just posted one non-binding participation sheet into the chat. If someone feels to try for this participation, feel free to fill it out and send it back to us. But of course, whenever we decide together. So don't hesitate to raise your detailed question to us. So I would like to officially then finish this session and closing this session with Mr. Weigert, with Ms. Manda, but of course from political side, from Ms. Macht. We would like to say very much thank you to everyone, to the speakers and to the listener. We wish you all the best, and we hope that we can see each other very soon. So bye-bye.